have selected the most important testimonial history of the 900 in order to be analyzed, documented, and reused. Reused in terms of showing that it's possible to reuse these buildings, these lost, in a more creative way. So the project result is that will be reached in our project activity can be summarized as in the slide. So there are make accessible for users and visitors this site in a more safety way. Another very important point is to raise the awareness and the attention of local communities, because this is one of the main aspects, the involvement of the local community, policymakers, and also potential investors in how it is possible to reuse this heritage in order to attract visitor, or simply to attract also potential investment, and to promote new tourism and possibly a new cultural route based on lost heritage of the 900. The project has been the activity has been divided in 5 working packages. The first one is more linked to the management. The second one is on communication, and the activity that has been carried out mainly by RERA was how to reach our target and stimulate in this target in participating in our activities. The second, the third working package has been managed by the University of Zadar, and is basically aimed to the creation, identification of the lost, that will be the target, and the creation of these digital documentation centers, where all the lost that we have been selected are cataloging, and their stories and main information described and cataloged. The other part, the most important part, is the WP4, and is relating to making this pilot site accessible and used. So as a first activity, the first activity was make this site accessible in a safety way for the organization of 1 performing events. These events were planned to be carried out in last year, but due to the pandemic, the organization of this event have been postponed to this year. So all the events will be organized in the next months. The last working package, where all these activities are summarized, are the establishment a new cultural tourist offer, and so the creation, or the possible creation, of a cultural route based on the 900s. These are the partners of the Revival project. So the Municipality of Forli, Campobasso, Cesenatico, Pesaro, Rijeka, the Municipality of Zadar, RERA, and the University of Zadar. These are the partner of Revival. Why we were together? We think that this project is an opportunity for sharing transnational experiences on common basic situation related to the cultural heritage, and especially how we can use the cultural heritage for economic and touristic purposes. This is not the result of, this is an ongoing process. This project was based also on the experiences of previous project that have been carried out with part of these project partners, and in this project have been mostly target on this lost and avoided area, let's say. So it's a process that, as the municipality is concerned, is also it's a part, let's say, of a strategy that has been started in the past, and with the project at en route, with the revitalization of other buildings like Santarelli, Fabbrica della Candela, and to the creation of open air museum of abandoned sites. This is a strategy that has been selected as for the municipality is concerned in the past, and we are really convinced that this can be the way for the future to recuperate these loss that are very important also for our collectivities. These are some of the loss that has been selected. Teatro Gil is where the event will be organized. The pilot event will be organized. And for this, if there are no, I would like to thank for your attention to everybody. I hope I will stay in, I was in 10 minutes, Maya.
Yes, you stay in 10 minutes. Thank you,
Okay.
Francesco. I hope you make it clear what is main goals of revival projects. Now it will be great if Roberto let us know more about Tempus projects. Roberto, are you ready?
I'm ready. Thank you very much, Maya. First of all, thank you very much, all of you, for inviting us to this event. My name is Roberto Malvezzi. I'm working for the National Research Council, and I'll present you shortly today the Tempus project. So let me share my screen. Can you see it? Maya, can you see my presentation?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so let's start. So, Tempus means temporary uses as startup actions to enhance port intangible heritage. So first of all, there are three main ingredients for our project. That's temporary uses, startup, and port's intangible heritage. First of all, we are focusing on port cities. As you all know, along the shores of the Adriatic Sea, many port cities are facing issues about abandoned or dismissed port areas. So we are concentrating on experimenting an approach for the regeneration of this area, which brings together these three ingredients. So basically, the idea is to leverage on the port's heritage as a way for nurturing new entrepreneurial ideas for, let's say, supporting the startup of new culture-driven entrepreneurial ecosystems, which are going to be hosted within temporary uses that we are going to activate in our target pilot areas. The project is funded with ITC-CNR as lead partner. We're running originally up to 2021, but then we got 12-month extensions to face the consequences of the COVID pandemics. We are now 9 partners. 4 are Italian. Beyond the CNR, also Certima from Faenza, CNA, that's the National Confederation of Crafts, Trades and SMEs from Ravenna, and the University of Bologna. Then in Croatia, we have the development agency Pouring of Rijeka, the Maritime Ministry Museum of Rijeka, the city of Rijeka, the city of Solin, and Rera. So our 3 main ingredients build up together an integrated regeneration process based on 3 axes. That is piloting, where we are investing in small infrastructures for activating temporary uses in our target areas that are intended as trigger actions for wider scale regeneration processes. Business generations through the engagement of enterprises and feeding and incubating entrepreneurial actions, and community building around all this through the storytelling of the port, the past and present city port heritage. We are testing this approach in 3 cities, Ravenna, Rijeka, and Solin. This is the architecture, is a bit complex, as I told you, but it's quite integrated. Piloting is at the center, where we are developing temporary uses. Business generation is going to select ideas that would be hosted in temporary uses, and around all this movement, a community of practice will be built. The process is articulated in several steps. At the preparation level, mapping of heritage and entrepreneurial resources has been carried out. Then the activation part of the project, where the activation of actors, generation of ideas, and the generation of first part of the community, the activation of the temporary uses, and then a synthesis which is made through the development of building community strategies, of urban strategies, and business strategies, which are all integrated across border cooperation approach in order to get an upscaling of the process. More in details, we started with mapping ports heritage, and we are developing actual, what we call salient maps about natural and cultural heritage of our port areas, and this has been achieved in our 3 pilot cities. Based on a research of the port heritage, exhibition of port cultural heritage have been performed. Originally, they wanted to be a physical exhibition, but we were forced to turn on digital exhibitions, so we called them My Port Heritage. They were developed by the University of Bologna in cooperation with the Maritime Ministry, Museum of Rijeka, and the pilot cities. And these were launched in our website. The name was Fluxes for this exhibition was given because we wanted to investigate exactly the dynamics through which technologies, cultures, materials, and people pass through the ports, generating wealth, generating innovation. So to inspire the next step, which is bringing entrepreneurs to understand the potential of this, let's say, port mindset in order to trigger new entrepreneurial ideas inspired by port heritage. And for this, we have launched a call for action, which is now the phase we are implementing, which will deliver to the following steps of the project. On one side, a new exhibition to explain to people how the storytelling of culture can nurture new ideas for the future, and this is the next step of the exhibition. And finally, the selection of entrepreneurial actions, which will be incubated and brought into our temporary uses on the sites to be regenerated. The end of the process is aimed to, let's say, generate a new heritage thanks to the activation of a cultural and creative ecosystem in the port area, so to show how the past heritage can generate and create new development, new sustainable development, new culture, new heritage. So this is a bit the plan that will allow us to have these small investments, pilot in temporary uses, as indeed trigger actions for wider processes that encompasses different levels. At the center, there are temporary uses. Around them, local entrepreneurial ecosystems will be progressively structured. These will be, let's say, integrated into urban strategies that will act as a leverage, as a capitalization for exploiting this movement, entrepreneurial, cultural-led entrepreneurial movement, and in the end, the creation of a community of practice around this pilots, which will be upscaled at city level and through cooperation at transnational level. This is how we imagined our experimental approach. All these 4 steps are, let's say, governed by specific working groups. There are technical working groups set up at the beginning for the design of the temporary uses. Then local action groups that are aimed to co-design urban strategies where to capitalize these activities have been set in the 3 pilot cities. We are now working to engage further actors, so to create a community of practice which can integrate the strategy with other activities coming from other sectors, for instance, associations, public activities, and other actions. And at the end, once the local ecosystem will be established in the temporary uses, we will organize progressively a local governance group, which will be appointed for the implementation of the final coordinated strategies that are business strategies, that are urban strategies, that are building community strategies, that are joint visibility and let's say creation of a wider Adriatic Sea culture of ports heritage regeneration plan. The 3 pilots were selected according to the presence, of course, of dismissed port areas in 2 pilots that are Ravenna and Solin. Small investments are undergoing. The pilots were chosen according to specific humus and affinity with our projects regarding temporary uses or actions. That is why we selected these pilots. And later, we will hear short presentations about also the backgrounds and humus of the pilots of Ravenna and Solin. While, of course, Rijeka brought the Rijeka experience with Rijeka 2020, with a lot of immaterial actions for revitalizing and enhancing the port's heritage were implemented, and the follow-up actions. So finally, what we called our ambition in the end is to cooperate together in order to test a way for generating a circular economy of culture, as we called it, a way for starting with heritage, for bringing new culture and new development together. I hope I was also staying in my 10 minutes. You can know more about the project by visiting the portal My Port Heritage, where the virtual exhibitions are actually online. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Roberto. It was very useful for me, and I believe for the rest of participants to know more about Tempus.
I think there's a lot of interconnections among these projects. Now that I've heard also Francesco speaking, I'm sure there's a lot of complementarities.
Yes, I agree with you. So after the introductions in the project goals, it is time to move on implementation of the project activities. So I kindly ask Tomislav to take us to Revival Online Digital Documentation Center. And yes. I believe it will be very interesting. We can have maybe some trip even online if we are not able to offline trips and travel.
Certainly, I'm ready. Thank you, Maya. Good morning, dear colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Tomislav Klarin, Assistant Professor at University of Zadar, Department of Tourism and Communication Studies. I'm representing University of Zadar and the city of Zadar. Mr. Francesco has already pointed out the importance of our digital documentation center. I suppose most of you has already seen some of this digital center or base of our heritage, which was used in our project. However, I will present you not with the presentation, but going through a tour with you and tour on our center. Just few information about our digital documentation center. It was made by the company Fair Project. They are very experienced creation company. They have been awarded several times. They have more than 700 projects and more than 400 clients. So I think we did a great job with them. Still, we have to finish this base because we have to fill it with additional information and materials. However, I think we did at least 90% of our base. It's about the base. Well, it's made as a typical website, so it's very easy to use. As you can see, it's very user friendly. Here is a menu, some information about the project, very short and very simple. I will show you some objects and some lost heritage, not the whole one because the time, and I will certainly give you this link on a chat so you can see it by your own. Here we can see some, we can see location list of our project partners and location list of all the heritage which is used in the project. So as you can see in creation part, we took 8 or even 8 or 9 objects, and in Italy side, for example, Cesenatico took almost 20 objects versus Campobasso, they took only 2 objects. Just to show you a little bit of our objects, we can put it also in a location map. Here is, for example, location map for Zadar County, and here are point out our objects which are included in the base, in the digital center. Like I said, this is just the beginning. For example, in Zadar, we did a really good job because we are dealing with bunkers, you will see. And when we compare to the research of our colleague Jurica Vučetić, who was passionate with the bunkers, he only put, he investigated and he did great research for all the bunkers, more than 200 bunkers around the city. And now we have all the bunkers documented and cataloged in the center. Here we put only 9 bunkers, but like I said, it's a beginning, and we have really good plans for extension of this project in order to include other bunkers in other projects, and in order to create different services and different products dedicated to local community and also to tourism. So, like I said, we did a really good job, and we are really honored to have some digital base. University of Zadar is also, we have a commitment to maintain this base in the next 5 years. But like I said, we will probably have additional time. We will have probably use it in another project, so we will maintain it even more. Here, like I said, we can go through the Italian Croatian part, and we can see the location of heritage included in every municipality. For example, here is Rijeka. We can see for Cesenatico, Campobasso, and Pesaro. When we go to the location list, we can see even more. I will first show our one of our bunker. Well, this object will be in focus of our project. This is one of the bunker in the well, it's almost in the center of the town, and we will use it for presentation center and starting point for a tour. Our colleague Iva Bencun will also explain you later what we have in our mind. About the methodology, when we collected all the materials and all the data, we have the same methodology, well, unique methodology. Let's say that we have done some kind of personal identification card of every object. So as you can see, we have a typology of the building, style, year of build, with what was the original name in the past, and contemporary issues. And then when we try to explain the degree of preservation and status of protection, some kind of architectural description. This is very specific because it's a bunker, but we can see other pictures on other objects, some historical and history context, and values of the building, like in past and also in contemporary context. So in Zadar we had a lot of problems because of the law and the problems with the territory. Let's say many of these bunkers are situated in private territory. So this one was is on a national territory in the city of Zadar. So we took it, and till the end of the project, we will redecorate it and use it like a starting point for a tour. Just to show you some other objects. Like I said, in Zadar we have 9 bunkers. In Split, they took a winery, old winery in Vinalco, as a building that they are going to use in the project, and also as a base for creating new products, like I said, for local community and tourism. So it's almost the same typology, the same methodology, that data and material about the building, typology, style, and description on it, considering that past, and also present value and possibility or constraints of using them. So we can, like I said, we can do the same for all location. Rijeka has the same focus like Zadar. They also have a fortification system, almost like bunkers, but I suppose that they will present their products, so I will not talk about it. In Italy, like I said, Cesenatico, they have a lot of objects included, and they will present also their project and their plans. Here we have some video clips and video galleries. You can also see some video materials which was made which were made during the project. We needed 1 year to create this base. It's because the complexity of the base. However, we had some problems with coronavirus. We couldn't go outside and take pictures and take photos and video clips. So we are expecting other additional materials, although we did a lot of them, and I think they give an additional aspect, a very interesting aspect of this heritage and the possibilities in use of the local community and tourism. So you can also watch it. They are very interesting. They have also titles on English, so you can see it and you can understand it. And finally, I would like to also share you other part of our project, which is also part of Digital Documentation Center. It's an additional point of possibilities and constraints of using this heritage in order to give interesting and specific information about this lost heritage, considering the storytelling. So I will show you just a short clip what we have done with the company eWise, agency eWise, which has a very good experience in storytelling. Like I said, it's still in progress, and we are also waiting for materials from other project partners. But I will show you just to see what we are going to do in the phase, in the next phase, and when we finish this project. It's in fact an application which is going to be used in a heritage. For today, we only have material for Zadar. So I will show you this short clip just to see what we have done. I think it's very interesting, and it's very attractive, especially for youngers. So please.
Welcome. This interactive course will take you back in time using 360 technology. Move your mobile phone around, explore, and click on the hotspots to discover fascinating facts and insights. Start your journey through time, explore the bunkers, and let them live again.
So this is an application where you can we could choose and go through the bunkers. We have for Zadar, we have some description.
By going through some of the town's most important moments in time, a rich 3,000-year-old history reveals itself before us. Zadar itself was founded 2,000 years ago, but the first traces of life found here are almost 3,000 years old. Over the course of these, Zadar's military geography was not at all satisfactory for Italy in the period between the two world wars. Its hinterland is mostly a large, almost completely flat plain that is perfect for conducting offensive military operations on the city. Initially, Italian military strategists wanted to have dense rows of barbed wire placed around the border and alongside the fortified reconnaissance watchtowers. However, when the Italian fascists came to power, Italian military leadership decided that Zadar's defenses would have to be as strong as possible to resist potential attacks from the Yugoslav army until help arrived from the rest of it.
And finally, visitors
at the Italian borders, all the way from France to the Kingdom of Yugoslavia. The first belt was supposed to represent the so-called resistance belt, intended to meet the first enemy strike with maximum resistance. The second belt, or the so-called safety belt, was intended to slow down enemy penetration, while the third belt, the so-called collection belt, was to have the role of concentrating artillery and infantry forces.
We are expecting to finish it till the end of the year, till the end of our project. Just to mention that all the materials are very quality, in high definition or in very high quality resolution. We really wanted to be a quality digital base, and I hope that we will proceed with our plans, and we will finish it as we planned till the end of the year, and it will be certainly a base for creation new services and new products for our tourism and the local community, as I mentioned before. I think that's all for today. Thank you very much, and if you have any further questions, I'm here on your disposal. I will in chat put a link of our digital documentation center base, so you can also see it. Unfortunately, the storytelling we will have to leave it to the end, and this is only for us, let's say, for project partners. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tomislav. It was good to walk through new cities and heritage, even it was online at this time. I'm proud, actually, on this center. Now, Petra Caruso from Rijeka city will introduce us in their ways for revitalizing Alpine walls in Rijeka. Petra, are you ready?
Hello, I'm
Hello.
ready.
Great.
Thank you for the introduction.
You can go on.
As Mr. Klarin already said, we had some similar theme working on, but I would like to say how my process of discovering the Alpine wall within the city borders began, actually with the Revival project. It all started with the survey among family and colleagues, 25 till 75 years. And yeah, just a second. I don't know if I shared the presentation. Just a second.
Okay, we can see.
You see?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, we can start.
Okay. Oops. I started with the at the end. So they all needed to answer 3 simple questions. Do you know what the Alpine wall is? Are you familiar with the existence of the military fortifications in Rijeka? And do you know for which war were these bunkers and tunnels built? The result was quite surprising, because it's like phenomenon of 90% phenomena, because very little of them knew about the argument of the Alpine wall. More than 90% of them knew of the existence of the tunnels and bunkers above the city center, although some of them confused them with the civilian tunnels which are under the city. And then 90%, a large part of them, were not sure for which war were they built for. Obviously, it was always First World War, Second World War. I don't know how familiar you are with this theme, but let me briefly tell you something more. Maybe at the end you will be more curious about this argument as well. So the Alpine wall was an Italian system of fortifications along the Italian northern frontier, almost 2,000 kilometers long. Its construction started in the first part of 1930s, which were the years leading to the World War II. This defensive line faced France, Switzerland, Austria, and Yugoslavia. And it was defended by the Guardia alla Frontiera, which were Italian special. The city of Rijeka was the last stronghold on the eastern part of the Alpine wall. Its fortifications were never defeated during the battles. The most famous battle in our parts was the Battle for Rijeka. The history was written once again on that day in 1945, but the tunnels and bunkers, although abandoned, remain and undiscovered. One of these positions were held by the army, but fortunately no real battles took place here. The Alpine wall within the city is divided on the eastern and the western part by the river, and World War, the political border and part almost morphology.
Pucati jako linija.
Kad smo kod uzoraka.
Can you switch off the video? Maybe that can help with Petra connection.
Yeah, we'll go just. Is it better now?
For me, it is.
Is it okay?
Yeah, it is better. Look, seems better. Try to speak.
Okay.
Yes, but I can't be asked everyone to switch off camera. Maybe it's too much for Petra connections.
Yeah, I don't know. It should be okay. Well, as I don't know how whether you've seen the video or not. However, it shows the morphological the tree of Rijeka and the way or the places where these strongholds and fortifications were built. The most significant fortifications are Caterina A and B on the western side of the city, which are also the only fully completed ones. This military architecture gives one an unforgettable experience thanks to perfectly camouflaged bunkers above ground, infinite tunnels, and heavy and yet so perfectly fitted steel combat blocks. Here you see this extraordinary bunker, with the art of camouflage, which was used because much attention was paid to it. Karst stone was mainly used to mask the constructions above ground, and concrete shell was created faithfully to imitate rocks and stones. The technology was applied not only in building of fortifications, but also in the communication between the systems of bunkers and barracks, such as radio and telephone. However, it is known that the trademark of the Alpine wall fortifications in terms of communication was a device called photophone, which remains are still visible in Caterina and Caterina B units. During this process of discovering the Alpine wall, our attention was finally concentrated on the Caterina B fortification. It has, as you see, a particular plan where tunnels form a ring, and therefore it is interesting as well from the aspect of presentation in situ and the visitors' flow. Nonetheless, it has the best preserved system of tunnels and bunkers, and it is one of the largest strongholds in these parts. The existing infrastructure that surrounds it makes it well accessible for the hikers as well as for the vehicles until a certain point, obviously near the entrance in bunkers. The panorama here is unforgettable. The scenery is really great, and it is already situated near the Rijeka city trail, which is the existing city trail going from the city center to the highest point where another bunker is. Having in mind that the fortification is only a small part of a larger story related to a history, not only of the city of Rijeka, but Europe as well, it is a unique opportunity to enlarge the touristic offer and to build a relationship to similar systems around the Europe. This is why the storytelling can make a difference. We are very happy that this project was a revival project, started with the documentation, and that its results will be seen at the end with the storytelling, because the storytelling can unite personal experiences and historical facts on different digital platforms and make it accessible to everyone. So when promotion of these structures is considered, opinions are divided. Is it better to leave these places hidden and away from the public interest, or should they be used as a touristic propaganda? Well, going back to the argument and the survey at the beginning, it is obvious that there is a lack of knowledge on the argument. Although some teams do not deserve to be promoted, we should not underestimate the strength of information, which should be accessible to everyone, leaving at the end the individual the choice of one's personal interest. Well, I personally believe that the experience of the presentation in situ using the adequate storytelling tools and equipment, for example, here are some examples like QR codes and similar smaller interventions in the local territory, that it could be a powerful tool of learning the past presented in a way interested even to the youngest population. It is a way to promote tolerance, variety, and even physical activity, as nowadays everyone likes to mention. Katarina B has a great potential of offering this unique experience to school children, tourists, hikers, as well as to those interested in warcraft strategies or similar. So the project of its revitalization should consider not only storytelling, but its relation to presentation in situ. It is an opportunity to inform, present, and give visibility to Rijeka and worldwide, and a new team for the citizens as well. We, I don't know how much, here's just a sketch of how important and how much potential it has, its presentation has inside and outdoors. So thank you, and if you have any questions, I will be glad to answer.
Thank you, Petra. I hope these little problems weren't disabled our project partners and participants to hear that such a good story from Rijeka. Actually, this presentation was great introduction for the next point. I invited in this event Renata Tešija from Dalmatia County because she led a very interesting project and named Dalmatia as a storytelling destination. And I believe it will be very useful to find out more about this project and how they use the storytelling concept as a tool for revitalization. So Renata, floor is yours. I hope you're ready. So just turn on microphone, please. Just turn on microphone.
Sorry. Thank
now
you,
it's great.
For inviting me, and greetings to everyone from Dalmatia County. I'm going to try to share my presentation in a moment. Maya, can you see it?
Yes.
Excellent. So once again, my name is Renata, not Damir as it says in the name tag on the screen. I work for Department of Tourism and Maritime Affairs for Split Dalmatian County, and underneath this official office, we have created a project called Dalmatia Storytelling Destination. So how it all started. Here at Split Dalmatian County, we like to say that under every little pebble, in every corner of our county, there is an untold story yet to be discovered. So therefore, that we have a slogan called "One Pebble, One Story," and hopefully today I will present you what we are doing under this project. So what Split Dalmatian County has been invested in selective forms of tourism for years, and so far we have recognized through our analysis that we are truly a storytelling destination, even though at the time we didn't call it so. So what do we have? We have historical events and performances that take place once and seasonally. Productions are very expensive to show more than once. They are often not designed for tourists to learn from them. Historical truths, often performances have no scientific basis in depicting certain elements. A large number of fans and stakeholders of some form of historical heritage storytelling, but there is no single platform for networking. Stakeholders mainly do not know each other. And at the end, then certainly promotion is a really important part of every project. And in this case, everyone promoted their product separately. And what they gain is actually a local reach effect. So what we want to accomplish with the Dalmatia Storytelling Destination project is to create 365 performances for 365 tourism. We want them to be commercially available. We want presentation and interpretation to be adapted for tourists, for them to learn something out of it. Also very important to mention here is that we find that tourists do not need to learn every single thing from our history, but they need to take a little pictures as a little emotion, as a souvenir from the place they come. We want to raise quality through scientific background and encourage authenticity, and certainly give emphasis on education, and encourage and enable networking with heritage storytelling stakeholders. Through the Dalmatia Storytelling website and promotional campaign to create the possibility of a bigger and clearer response for all existing storytelling offers. So to give you kind of drawing of what storytelling destination, the Dalmatia Storytelling Destination project encompasses is really, first of all, it is a very layered destination management project. We do we have recognized that we have a large base of already existing tourist offers in storytelling tourist offers. And we are trying to raise a new one. However, we also try to promote publicly, to promote tourism culture within the schools, or try to do better to promote in storytelling in museums. Also, another activity is to promote storytelling in family-owned rentals. The Dalmatia County is well known for providing accommodation via family-owned rentals. And the last and not the least important, actually, it's quite important to do promotional activities that everyone will benefit from it. So to focus on raising the quality storytelling products in tourism, what we're doing is co-financing programs for storytelling projects. We do certification of heritage interpreters and creating new commercial and tourist offer. As far as the focus on heritage interpreters, we are creating creative interpretive walks. We do revival of heritage characters, mainly through museums and important historical sites. And we are creating with travel agencies storytelling excursions. And so, as far as storytelling in museum, we do we try to create digital storytelling via video, animations, audio, depending. There's an interesting project also called Storytelling Benches that will soon be live at Split area. And so, how it all started, really, the first step, excuse me, oops. It skipped. There we go. Okay. Little technical problems. Okay. So how we started with this, we actually organized workshops. We did this with the cooperation with Interpret Europe certification program. We did a public tender and call for all of our tourist guides, as well for museum and important heritage sites, to send their interest for this sort of creating an 365 tourism offer, storytelling, interpretive walks, and reviving heritage characters. So we had 2 of these educational workshops. They were held in Split. These are some photos from all the fun we had in both of those educational workshops. They were 5-day long, 40 hours, and throughout that week. And after that, it was not the end. They had a little homework in order to gain Interpret Europe certificate. I have to say that all of our 23 interpretive tourist guides got their certification, and also within the museums, all 16 of them got certified as costume live interpreters. And so that was the beginning point. What we had after that is months and months of working on the scenarios, working on our communication skills, and working on historical facts, and all of the other principles that Dalmatia storytelling quality standard wants to be implied while creating a storytelling experience tour. So meet our guides. As I said, in this project, only tour guides can participate as far as creating the storytelling interpretive walks. And we have 23 of them. They are coming from all parts of Split Dalmatian County. This was very important to us because we wanted to discover every story in every corner of our county. They had to apply with one story and work on this story from the beginning. At the beginning, they did it through educational workshop, and they continue working with us and in our little groups. And so what they have done in this few last months is really create a fantastic thematic storytelling interpretive walks. This is another set of a group as well, out of those 23 very experted licensed tour guides. And then we have also a group of tour guides and museum professionals. They joined us in this program. They are certified costume live interpreters, and they are going to do revive the historical character of their choice. They're also coming from various museums and various geographical locations from our county. Beneath their name is their name of the story and product that will be live from already this summer, and it will be shown on our platform. Besides creating new products, and we have created 39 new products through our interpreters and museum professionals, we are also giving a strong emphasis on promoting the idea of how to be a storyteller in small small family-owned rental. We believe that in raising a 3-6 or culturing 365 tourism in our area, everyone needs to be ambassador of their destination. And so we want to teach when every family-owned rental owner how to really provide quality information to a tourist within their home, how to decorate the home in a way that really tells a story. We want to teach them how to know their own local history and incorporate it within their own little businesses. So far what we did is wrote some articles, as you can see it here. They are in Croatian, I'm sorry, but it's for only our public. We also held some presentation for them. We are in process of creating educational workshops for family-owned rental owners, and so where we're gonna teach them how to really decorate their apartments and flats and accommodations, small hotels, in a way to tell one story, whether it's a natural or historical heritage. Promoting tourism culture within school is a very important part of this project. It may not be commercial in its sense, but what it does, it creates really new generations of ambassadors of our destination. And so we did, we co-partnered with ICT Županija. ICT Županija is a project department here within our Dalmatia County institution. And we did a project with them, with the tourist boards and the tourism and hospitality high school here in Split. The project really involved over 600 students, and what they had to do is actually, first of all, we taught the kids from the tourism and hospitality school what is the storytelling, how to build a destination via using storytelling, and how to really point out the heritage, whether it's a natural or historical heritage. So what we did, they actually pretended to be the creators of a destination. And on the other hand, we had a little programmers in Edit School program project who created those websites according to the storytelling method. So it was very successful. We end up in a COVID situation where we couldn't present them awards and to do this publicly, but we did it online at the end, and we still finished. These are the screenshots of some of the works that were done. Another small project, really small, but a great way how to teach kids to love its heritage and to learn about storytelling and to learn about how to present and interpret your cultural and natural heritage is done with the local middle school called Don Laure Katica from Solin. What we did is each of our interpreters, whom you have seen on the earlier slides, wrote these little cards about cultural stories and the storytelling facts from their own tours that they will be giving this summer. So we passed to the kids these little cards and gave them the empty pebbles. They had to learn the little story behind, to talk about it and present it, and then to make a drawing of a motif on a little pebble. So they created these lovely pebbles. Now, these were the first graders in the school. So this is just one way how to teach kids to become storytellers, how to present and interpret their own history, and also to create a generation that will be great ambassadors of our destination in future. Dalmatia storytelling is still a project in a rise. Actually, we are expecting to launch our webpage at the end of the June, beginning of July. But it already stirred up media attention and as well as local and international interest. And so we are also glad to be a part of this webinar and to present a little bit of what we are doing here. I hope I'm in time, and thank you very much. I hope you visit us in 2021 and discover authentic, historical, adventurous, colorful, full of life creation, inspiring, and above all, emotional stories at the Dalmatia Storytelling Destination, because it's very important that we move from sun and sea, and that while you're here enjoying our coast, you're also enjoying discovering numerous of the stories that are hidden in every corner of our county. Thank you very much. And if you have any question, let me know.
Thank you, Renata.
May I add something, please? Tomislav Klarin from University. Thank you for your lovely English. I thought I was somewhere in UK. Could you please send me or through the chat some materials what you have done, or a link where we can see some of your work, because it's very interesting and it could be applied also in Zadar, so I'm interested. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. Thank you very much. It's no problem. I'll be glad to share our experience and materials that we have. I hope you join us, and I will certainly come to Zadar to see all the bunker stories.
Very well. Yeah.
Great. So thank you, Renata. It's true, it lasted a little longer than expected, but I hope that participants don't take this as a problem. And I already see that some of project partners get some ideas for storytelling in their own area, and it's great. So I suggest we can move on to the next point. Our Iva from Feral Tours, an external expert for Zadar, shows us how tourist routes can be a great tool for revitalization. Iva, are you ready?
Hi to everybody. I am ready. Just a moment.
Great.
Let me start my video. Sorry, you surprised me a little bit because I thought it was somebody from still in front of me, but here we are. I'm going to open my presentation. Just a moment. Okay. Do you see it?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
First to present myself, Iva Bencun, the owner of tourist agency Feral Tours from Zadar, and I was employed as an external expert in tourism from city of Zadar. As Francesco has already in the beginning pointed out about the revival, what are all the things that we need to do. Now I am running the VP5, which aims to create a new cultural route, which will finally connect all the partners in this project. Now, what is our activity is first to make a joint brand, so it is easily recognizable on the wider market. And this is what we have done so far. So we have a common brand and common logo, which will I present. After that, we are doing, or parallel with this, we are doing a local, we are developing the local routes in each of the partner cities, and then all these local routes will be connected into one intercultural or international route. So this is the logo that represents all 7 partners in the project. And I will now focus specifically on the route that we are doing in Zadar. So what we have created in Zadar is a tourist route through Zadar bunkers. Of course, bunkers have been chosen as object for revitalization in this project. And what is interesting about this, like same as Petra said in Rijeka, that people didn't know and still don't know much about the story of the bunkers. The same happens in Zadar. we have in Zadar close to 250 bunkers, which is really a fascinating number. And I myself, before entering this project, thought that, you know, maybe we had 10, 20, but I was shocked to learn 250, and I think it's a great potential for tourist offer. Now, idea of all of these EU projects is that finally, what we are doing is sustainable, that this can be supported on its own. And I strongly believe that all of the objects that we have, each partner individually has chosen, that this can be put in really good use. Now, we have developed a tourist program of duration of about 3 hours. We have selected points of interest, and we start and finish in the underground bunker. This is now, if you can see the map. So these are the bunkers that are closest to town. Now, just to give you a little background why these bunkers have been built in the first place, like Petra already mentioned, it's a similar story to Rijeka, but after the First World War, during the Rapallo Treaty in 1920, this whole region came under Italian rule. Now, as Italians arrived here, they saw that the whole hinterland of Zadar was not well protected. This is a story that repeats itself with Zadar as an interesting region, and geopolitically, it was often attacked, and Zadar has many fortifications. Now, the most known fortifications in Zadar are the city walls, medieval city walls around the old city of Zadar, and luckily recently under UNESCO protection, they have also been renovated. And now these are the most recent fortifications, actually, built since 1920 and until 1940s. As Italians have seen that it is a region that can be easily attacked, very open region. So 250 bunkers were built in the two sections. One was the sea section, in the other one the land section. As you can see on the map, we are touring during these 3 hours in the hinterland. We are passing by many of the bunkers, but basically we are making 4 stops where we introduce these bunkers to tourists, where we explain the story behind them. And for us also the interesting story is, and at the same time funny story, these bunkers were built until 1940s, and I am sure, we don't have this information, but I'm sure that a heavy amount of money was spent on building them, only basically never to be used during the Second World War, but they have been used during the Homeland War recently, for which basically Croatians are happy and grateful. Now, this is the map that we are passing by. And what I will do now is present a short tour that we have passed with, of course, in this project, we are trying to make more and more people, wider audience, aware of what we are doing and how this will be used. So we have invited people from local government to join us on our buggy route through the bunkers. Now, why buggies? Because this area is not so easily reachable by cars or even by bikes. So the buggy was the perfect vehicle in order to create a route. And now I will share a video with you. Just a moment, please.
We cannot see. Is everything okay? Eva? We can see the video.
Sorry.
Do you want? Do you want, Eva, that I play the video?
Just a moment. Sorry, you did not see it, or?
No.
Mayo, I don't hear it.
No.
No, we cannot see.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry, don't know why. Mayo, can you share it because you have it as well?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. I apologize for this.
Nema zvuka.
Majo, možda da uključite svoj zvuk jer ne čujemo ništa. To jest mikrofon.
Da morate prilagoditi prilikom otvaranja da se i zvuk podijeli.
It is problem when I mute my microphone. Moment. I have the problem with microphone. Eva, please, can you start?
Okay, I will try again. Is that okay?
You should share a screen on the way we tried yesterday.
Okay, let's do it again.
Samo tu na share screen stavi baš ovu sličicu gdje ti je... Evo ga, sad vidimo.
Ok, sad?
Je, sad je ok. We cannot hear, but I guess it's problem with headphones.
Iva,
Molim.
Klikni ovdje share computer sound. Ti je share screen. Imaš dolje u lijevom kutu, stavi kvačicu, ja mislim. Ili je tome? To?
Da, je to, Iva.
Levo kliknite.
Ne, ide na share screen i onda
screen.
imaš dole u kutu share sound, u lijevom kutu. Meni je problem što nemam uopće mikrofon u kompjuteru. I'll try again. Iva, can I try again?
Neki do ovako što.
Okay, we have subtitles for.
So that was it. I apologize for this technical problems. You should imagine a really hype music behind. But this is the idea that we got, and this is how we want to create local routes that we will then offer to tourists. And of course, in this way, these objects will be sustainable. And this is the idea how we want to connect all the partners in the intercultural international route. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Iva. Obviously, we can't avoid these technical problems in these strange times.
Maybe we shouldn't have tried previously.
Yeah. In any case, you can find this video on our official YouTube channel. And I really hope we have ability to visit Zadar and enjoy this adventure. Roberto for sure is waiting for representing Campobasso pilot site, so I'm giving the word for you, Roberto, and sorry for replacing yours and Iva's presentation in agenda. It's my fault.
No problem. No
Okay.
problem at all, Maya. I understood that it was just a matter of looking at the agenda. So Good morning, everybody. I hope that you can see what I'm sharing. My name is Roberto Righi, and I work for the Campobasso Municipality as an expert for the communication and some research activities related to the Revival project. Thank you for the organization of this event. Thanks a lot for the previous presentations that were really inspiring. And as some people said, this idea about storytelling that Renata presented beforehand, but also Iva's presentation and the others could be really, really inspiring for us when we will come to organize our events. And this is where Campobasso is placed, just for your information, and especially for the others who are not part of the project. And have you heard from the first presentation by Francesco, Revival aims at revitalizing buildings and historical spaces belonging to the 20th century. So the first action that we have undertaken together with the Campobasso colleagues was to identify 8 or 9 places in the city that could be suitable for the project objectives. And after some consultations with local stakeholders, also with experts from the cultural heritage sector, we decided to focus our attention on the schoolhouse, the so-called Casa della Scuola, that was formerly a big primary school that was closed some years ago due to its unstable situation from the architectural and solidity point of view, especially after an earthquake that happened some years ago. But as you could see also from this image, this is a very big building that is located in a very central position in the town. And these are some pictures from the ancient times. Some history just to give you an idea of the building. This was started to be constructed in the very first years of the last century, and during the First World War period, also Austrian prisoners were involved to help for the construction of the building, and then for a short time, almost 1 year, the building was held by the military authorities to be converted temporarily in a military hospital. Then, after 1919, this became the school. So for more or less 1 century, this was considered a school. And for the people, especially also from Croatia, who had the chance to visit, you could have seen how big it is. And this is a rectangular shape, and it's spread over 4 levels. Now the most part of this building is not used, is in a particular state of abandonment and dismissment. So of course we would like to bring this building to a new life, to a new use. And there were very big halls and classrooms and rooms for the teaching activities and for the students. And in the middle, this big hall called Aula Magna that was used for the big events that were organized during when the school activities were still ongoing. And this is a very, very big building with some acoustic problem that could be solved, but can really be used for concert and for many, many events. Now the school is not completely abandoned because there is the media library at the ground floor. On the first floor, there is this gallery, art gallery dedicated to a local painter. And it hosts also the Dante Alighieri Association and Italian Union of Readers. So the city is trying to reconvert part of these school rooms and spaces to find the hosting for cultural association, cultural events, and so on. And these are the mayor's sentence that gives some idea on what the future would be for this house of school. And we are now thinking about different possibilities on how to organize a kind of launch or kickoff event in order to make aware all the local communities, but also possible tourists, on how the schoolhouse can be brought to new life. And last week we also had an online, unfortunately, meeting, but very efficient and very fruitful with local association, with the cultural heritage responsible of the local museum and the superintendency for cultural heritage in Campobasso town, in order to share the project objectives and get some ideas, some suggestions on the organization of the very first events that will take place in September this year. And here in this small picture, you can see that there is a small backyard in the back of the school, and we would like to restore it and clean it, of course, and organize there some open events. One of the idea that was more attractive for all the people, for all the stakeholders, is possibly creating a sort of open day event with music, with activities that could be appealing, especially for young people, for students, because we would like that the school could still have these learning and formative objectives. One of the other ideas is organizing, for example, a theater play telling about the story of the building, but also a kind of competition hackathon for young students. We also worked at the storytelling app, and which is more or less ready. These are the 360 degrees pictures. And we had a lot of interviews and videos with the people from the school, ex-teachers, ex-students, and people who are interested to give a new life to this place. And if we have a bit of time, I can show you one short interview. It lasts only 1 minute, and there is one former student that is reading a composition that she found from her grandmother, dated back to 42, so during or 43, during the Second World War, and it's a very interesting testimonial and witness of the importance of this school.
Campobasso, 2 gennaio 1943, il nuovo anno. Quest'anno nessuno ha fatto bene il primo dell'anno, perché siamo in tempo di guerra. Primo, perché non si trova niente. Secondo, perché pensiamo ai nostri fratelli che combattono in Russia. E terzo, perché tutti hanno qualcuno al fronte di battaglia. La vecchia Befana quest'anno è stata molto avara, perché non mi ha dato quello che mi l'anno scorso. Essa mi ha regalato soltanto un bel libro di favole ed io ho accettato con piacere. Abbiamo passato la serata giocando a tombola ed a carte sino a tardi.
So this was a short example of the interviews, and I tried to be as quick as possible in order to to leave you more time for the possible questions. And thank you very much for your attention from me and from Sabrina Tirabassi, who is responsible for and coordinator for the Revival project here in the city of Campobasso. And we have presented, we have collected all the information for this presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Roberto, on the presentation. It was very interesting. So it's finally time to move on Tempus pilot sites. So I kindly ask Maria Cristina Garavelli to represent their pilot site. Maria, are you ready? Yes.
Yes, I'm ready. Good morning, everyone. Only 1 second that. Oh, sorry. Did you see the presentation or not?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Only 1 second. Okay. Well, good morning, everyone. It's a great pleasure for us to be here and participate to this event. And thank you for the invitation. I'm co-founder of Officina Meme Architetti, and we are an architecture company based in Ravenna, with strong expertise in the design and management of land transformation. We also are an innovative startup focused on research and innovation in project strategies and integrated design, the field of urban regeneration. Our interest in the activation of abandoned spaces found its first task in developing a methodological approach to the Ravenna docklands called Darsena. It's the idea of a strategic, innovative and sustainable regeneration of fragile spaces that guided us during the transformation process of the Ravenna city dock. We have in Darsena about 136 hectares of oceanographic industrial archaeology, abandoned bollards and platforms that have been our experimentation field. Thanks to the work developed during 8 years of research, we find in temporary use the methodology that allows the right economic balance in the short and medium terms, and leads an asset from the abandoned state to its final transformation through an incremental process of innovation that starts from the empathic listening of those who live in the place to be regenerated. Our vision plus the applied method gave us the possibility to harness resources to progressively allow abandoned sites to be given back to the citizens, like we did as an example with the former shooting gallery in Ravenna. The first urban reuse experiments and activation events of the historic shooting gallery in Ravenna, made along the right side of the Canale Candiano. So you can see a lot of events, of cultural events that we make in that place at the start, at the beginning on our process of regeneration of the Darsena. especially during the occasion of the Darsena Open Show in 2050. So this triggered a level debate between the various stakeholders and led to a newly defined regulation for temporary uses and reuses, in opening the way for the activation of both the former production and key areas. In this context take place the Darsena pop-up project, located along the right side of the Ravenna city dock and promoted by the Ravenna, the Naviga in Darsena Cultural Association. The area in 2050, the area of about 40,000 square meters was a former stone deposit, and now host a sport, cultural and center for a new sector of sport and recreation with spaces for sport, cultural and leisure activities built using box shipping container modules. And the project principally is based on sociality, innovation, and sustainability. Darsena Pop-Up has become, within 2 years, an attractive pole for the city and for the citizen, arousing the interest of other entrepreneurs. Then Darsena Pop-Up is a social activation project strongly linked to the harbor identity and history of the Ravenna, and it follows 3 fundamental principles: sociality, so innovation, and sustainability. It is a pilot process for temporary uses with the purpose to create a new sport leisure area and to provide new services to the neighborhood. And it is an incremental project which works on the middle time as a unit of measurement of the urban regeneration, marked by progressive phases. The main goal is to have a new link between the city and the waterfront, and an opportunity to develop a shared vision between private investments and local authorities, enhancing the creation of a heterogeneous area, which is now part of citizen daily life. The area hosts skate plaza, bar, restaurant, cooking school, ice cream shop, bike sharing spot, beach volley, beach tennis fields, basket, warehouses, exhibition space, and also a teenage radio. The project is the result of an integrated design aimed to the technological and environmental optimization of the container boxes. So with the Darsena Pop-Up project, the most important result, the goal is that the perception of a place has been transformed, which from empty has become attractive, generating a trigger for the transformation of adjacent areas, thanks to the ever-growing interest of other entrepreneurs, creating new jobs and development, especially on the right-hand key. As you can see in this axonometric view of the whole Darsena, where we have indicated the works we have followed. So Darsena Pop-Up is here, and for example, on the right side of the Canale Candiano, and the Ravenna pilot is here on the left side. And so the Tempus pilot project for the Ravenna finds its location on the left side of the Canale Candiano. And the site is not activated yet. And it is surrounded, as you will see later on, by abandoned areas. As you can see in this slide, even the public lighting, it's missing along the pier. The project for Tempus pilot is over here. And so this is a great opportunity for to test temporary uses as a startup action to enhance port intangible heritage. So the next challenge is to generate interest for the left quay of the canal. And so the case study we are working on involves for this, and involves of a portion of land on the left side of the quay inside the former headquarters of Consorzio Agrario. Here you can see some pictures of the area and of the quay of the left side of the Canale Candiano. So to define the architectural concept, we started with a territorial and urban analysis, which highlighted the relation between the pilot area with the neighborhood and the Darsena. So the neighborhood is well serviced by cycle routes and public transport, but those are not connected to the Darsena. The neighborhood shows a lack of facilities, and the urban fabric near the Darsena points out how the pilot area is mainly surrounded by abandoned sites. So the main goals of the pilot project are design a regeneration process as a strategy against soil consumption, working to discover the portual identity and the memory of the site, design a temporary hub to promote culture and social aggregation, create a link between the neighborhood and the Darsena waterfront, and plan a step-by-step activation. So, crossing the result of the territorial, urban, and climatic analysis with the expected goals of the pilot, we came up with the architectural concept designed to enhance, first of all, sustainable mobility, green reconnection, new facilities development, open heritage view, area presidium, permeability of the area, and specifically, the project involves this portion of the area of the whole property of the consortium. So this is the area of the pilot, and with the aim to connect pedo-cycle access from the district located in Via delle Industrie to the quay area through the free use and crossing in the spaces. Established a nucleus of transform shipping containers to house spaces for cultural, recreational, and research use. design the outdoor space as a place of aggregation and landscape, new landscape. So encourage aggregation, sociality through the inclusion of furniture, spaces for rest and sitting. So this is the first concept sketch of the architectural project, and we propose a regeneration project that takes place step by step and work on a light intervention of setting up the area with the temporary use of shipping container box to make spaces for cultural, recreation and research use available to the community. First of all, we open this connection between the neighbor and the Darsena waterfront, and on this connection we, in continuity with the frame of the territorial system, we lay down a temporary organism made of shipping containers overlooking a square, shaded by a green gallery which can host recreational and social gathering activities. The project converted shipping containers for this hub for startup, association, cultural and creative industries. And we have multifunctional spaces, spaces for cultural activities, perhaps greenhouses, and this big plaza for common space, and also bar, restaurant, and so on. And we have planned the construction of the square, slightly raised with respect to the context, and partially covered by a large green pergola, in which plants will grow for shade and will become a meeting place for shows, cultural events, and progressively we hope the regeneration of the entire area until it becomes a garden. And so I'm finished. Thank you for your attention. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Maria. It was a pleasure to see all the sections on your heritage. So I guess we can move to Solin pilot site. Ivana, can you please start a presentation?
Yes. Hi, everyone. And thank you, Rera and Roberto, for inviting me to speak in front of the city of Solin. I'm just trying to share my screen. Can you see it?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to talk to you about the Solin as a pilot site in Tempus project, but also I will take this opportunity to tell you a little bit more about our other projects that are dealing with bringing a new life to forgotten spaces. So for the introduction, the port of Solin is situated in a well-sheltered bay area behind the city of Split at the estuary of Jadro River, and although it is hard to see today, in the period from the 2nd century BC, it was the port of ancient Salona, the capital of Roman province Dalmatia. It occupied the lower course of river Jadro, and it was filled with warehouses, piers, and shipyards. With the raising of the sea level, and from the mud from the river Jadro and soil from researches of Salona, the former port was covered. And now we only have little archaeological remains that have not yet been researched, only fragmented knowledge about that. So at the beginning of the 20th century, industrial and traffic infrastructure physically separated the area from the rest of the city. And because of the decline of that industry, we can now say that today we are dealing with industrial and infrastructural archaeology at the site. So also, although Solin is a city on sea, it is hardly perceived as such both among the locals and the visitors. So the first project we participated in was Project Suburban Reinventing the Fridge as an Urban 3 pilot site, and it focused on urban fringes and its transformation into areas with quality urban and social facilities with strong identity. And the pilot action also tested and implemented the tools that were being developed with this planning network, and with temporary uses and participative approach being the most important ones. On this project, we collaborated with the University of Split in order to enhance our capacities regarding strategical and urban development. And the project operated on many different levels by planning and taking small-scale actions at the same time in order to transform the area. And here you can see the pictures from the student workshops and on-the-spot actions that we did, like this graffiti in an underpassage and lighting of an old railway bridge. In coordination with the Urbact local support group, we also started a process of revitalization of the city beach Mramorna, which you can see here on this picture. It is below the railway, and we also did some interventions there, but unfortunately at the moment we had to stop with the complete revitalization because it was impossible to ensure the safe crossing over the railway. So the intention in the future is to relocate the infrastructure that separates beach from the city and bring this area to its full purpose. On another EU-funded project called Connecting Separated, we reconstructed the walking trail at the Jadro River mouth. This is what it looked like before. And now we did it with student urban installations that represent archaeology, swamp, port, and industry as 4 main layers of the identity of this site. And this literally brought life to the site because this whole area has a huge historical and cultural identity and emotional value for the local community. Our ongoing project is Open Summer Stages of Urban Agglomeration in Split that deals with revitalization of cultural heritage through reconstruction and equipping of open summer stages at several locations in 7 different cities and municipalities, Solin being one of them. And this will increase the level of preservation of these attractions, modernize existing facilities and bring them closer to visitors while raising the quality of cultural heritage presentation and its long-term sustainable use. So what you see on the slide is the location called Gradina in Solin, and we are currently at the end of our work, so we hope to have our first events held on this stage this summer. From the year of 2014, we are working on the process of revitalization of ex-Marston quarry in the area named Maidan, which you can see here on the map near the Jadro River source. We are converting it into a community park with recreational and educational facilities. And here you can see how it looked before we started our interventions. So the park is going to have a lot of contents. It is going to have like an open school in nature, teaching parts. We are going to have a visitor center for soft-mouthed trout, which is an endemic species on this area. And the ruinous object alongside Diocletian's aqueduct is going to be converted into a visitors center. And here you can see that we have already completed the first phase of our project. This is the community park. And another project is called New Gloriet. Its goal is to improve the brownfield infrastructure and provide new content for local community. This existing facility is, as we speak, being converted into a multifunctional facility, which is going to have an art cafe and offices for Solin Tourist Board with new spaces for smaller exhibitions and the park in front of it. Okay, so now we move on to our Tempus pilot site. Solin is one of 3 pilot locations, and as you already heard, and through the working package of pilot testing for co-designing heritage-driven urban strategies, we will test the temporary uses approach for activating local cultural heritage valorization and regeneration process. These pilots will be run in 2 stages. And the first one is activation of small-scale infrastructures and the initial entrepreneurial activities. And the second stage regards the upscaling of temporary uses actions based on the knowledge produced within the project. Small-scale infrastructures in Solin will be performed on the building of Football Club Solin. The facility is now being partly used for locker rooms and club rooms for the football club. But our planned intervention area is the first floor, which is now not in use, but in the past it was used as a restaurant. So after the renovation, the users of the space will be local entrepreneurs, startups, and organizations that lack space for their activities. It will also be used for activities such as conferences, educations, cultural events, and the space will function as a co-working space and center of community in which cultural, educational, and entrepreneurial activities will be fostered. We are currently in the process of public procurement for the works, so we hope to start the renovation soon. So what was done so far besides our small-scale infrastructure interventions? Our activity of mapping of port cities' natural and cultural resources that Roberto talked about earlier. The aim of this activity was to give an overall picture of tangible port heritage in our cities in order to accumulate information to be used both on-site and online and to acknowledge hidden and neglected cultural heritage. For each asset, we defined a valorization and regeneration potential through a simple criteria in order to understand to what extent a building or area can be used for temporary activities. And this kind of information will nourish the co-designing process of our urban strategies. We also collected this descriptive information about Nature 2000 sites surrounding our target port areas with the aim of establishing an exploitation potential, and all of this information will be stored on our Tempus platform at the end of the project. So another activity is co-designing of our heritage-driven of community and community-led strategies. There will be a non-planning documents that aim at coordinating public and private actions along shared lines of development according to a clear long-term vision in which temporary uses pilot actions are considered the first and trigger step. And they will define the set of actions aimed at activating core cultural heritage valorization and regeneration potential. And our local action groups that were established at the project beginning are really participating in co-designing of these urban strategies. So, and they include different experts and relevant stakeholders from our area. Another activity is the creation of interactive exhibition on core cultural evolution that also Roberto mentioned at the beginning. These exhibitions, here we are doing a design and realization of 2 exhibitions that were supposed to be in physical form, but because of the situation, we had to do the first one online, and it was already published at the end of the last year. And this exhibition is allowing visitors to gain knowledge about commercial, productive and leisure activities characterizing the port in different epochs. So I'm going to show you our link and how one page of the exhibition works. And at the end of my presentation, I'm going to share the link in the chat with you. And another activity that we started was the development of heritage-driven entrepreneurial business strategies that has 3 objectives. One of them is to give an overall picture of already established enterprises in our area that deal with cultural and natural heritage, then to identify innovative activities in the field of cultural, creative and tourism industries, and to identify directions to be followed in order to accompany the development of local entrepreneurship systems after the end of the project. This will be reached by editing entrepreneurial local maps, which we already did. Here you can see our Tempus questionnaire and how the first page looks. We mapped our entrepreneurs from split Dalmatia County so that we can have a clear vision of how many of them deal in the cultural, creative and tourism industries. And the colleagues from Italy also did it for Ravenna region. And the other things that we have to do in this activity is realization of our open calls that I will mention later, and defining our business strategies. So I will now mention a few of the upcoming activities. The open call I mentioned. This call is going to give the entrepreneurs the opportunity to establish their headquarters in our temporary uses sites in order to start creating a collaborative entrepreneurial ecosystem. This open call is going to be addressed to cultural and creative industries, and it is closely linked to the Tempus exhibition, to our first exhibitions. We are going to announce this call soon. So the entrepreneurs will be able to submit their ideas that were inspired by the first exhibition, and selected winner will be able to use our new spaces for 1 year. So after this call, we will have our second exhibition that will show how the contents from the first exhibition have influenced the entrepreneurial ideas in response to our call for ideas. And then after that, we are going to have our tour openings. We hope to have them in fall, if everything goes well with works. And by the end of the project, we have to finish our Port City urban strategies that I mentioned before. And another activities of establishing the heritage-driven collaborative entrepreneurial ecosystem that Roberto already talked about is very important, because its goal is to foster the creation of an entrepreneurial system with the aim of supporting entrepreneurship in fields of creativity, culture and tourism, and improving new economic development that is going to be based on valorization of hidden tangible and intangible heritage. So that's it from me. I hope I wasn't too long. Thank you very much all for your attention.
Okay, thank you, Ivana. It was very actually interesting for me to see this presentation, because Solin is my hometown, and okay. I see all these activities on a daily basis, and it was great to realize that actually they are part of the Tempus and other projects.
Thank you very much. I will share the link for the exhibit in the chat now.
Okay, great. We are actually a little running out of time, mainly because of the technical problems. But anyway, if we agree, I consider useful to give opportunity for eventually questions or comments. So if anyone has something to add or comment, feel free to switch on microphone and share your opinions or questions with us. Questions, anybody?
Just a comment. Just
Okay,
a comment.
great.
It's very yes. I'm very pleased to see that this EU funds and these projects really help to the local community and to use a lot of heritage, a lot of industrial heritage, and a lot of other buildings that are neglected, that they're not in use. So, in fact, I'm very pleased to see these good practices that a lot of efforts are done and given to the local community. I hope it will be sustainable. Just a comment. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Tomislav, to share with us your opinion. Anybody else? Okay.
Maya, just a comment, not
Okay,
a question,
Francesco?
also from my side. It has been very, very interesting, all the intervention, and it is it is possible to underline that there are a lot of similarity in the two projects. So it's especially from the technicians that are presented the pilot intervention. I think that we have to try to find some synergy or a way to share information, and let's say to having a sort of cross-fertilization of the activities. But in this sense, I'm not a technician, and I leave the floor to them. But Maya, you can be the contact, let's say, in a way. You have facilitated this meeting, that's fine. Thank you.
Yes, I agree. Thank you, Francesco. Anyone else? So if anyone doesn't have anything else to add, feel free to conclude this meeting. I don't want to prolong more the events, and I think there is no necessary, because the presentation was very good and helpful. So I believe we can conclude all at the end that both Italy and Croatia has much spaces and heritage which waiting for revitalization, and at the same time has a great opportunities to be discovered, and I'm happy for that. Mainly with those great tools represented through previous presentation and the projects. I'm very glad that I could be part of this event and the projects, and I hope this event will be maybe like some start point of networking and the new great ideas and revitalization of closed spaces. So I kindly ask all participants to send me their presentations so I can share it among the participants. And that's all. Oh, I almost forgot. Can you please switch on cameras to make up pictures for our social medias? Okay. I'm waiting for the cameras. We have almost all. Okay, I will make now. Or just wait. Okay. So say the cheese. Okay.
Aye.
Okay, now we have a picture, so we can conclude. Thank you once more on attention, and have a good day. Bye bye.
Thank you very much, Maya, for this successful event. It was a pleasure.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Bye bye to everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.